Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you'll join me as I travel around Hampshire and surrounding countryside and look at the history of the counties through the items I find as I dig. First, I thought I would start off by showing you some of the items I've found as I've been travelling around. And each of the items I'm going to show you today have a theme in common, and that theme is the First World War. And there's quite a lot of it around where we are, so we'll start off with a collar badge. So this is a collar badge and it's from the 102nd Canadian Infantry, and they were authorised on the 22nd December 1915 and embarked for Britain on 18th of June 1916, and they disembarked for France in August 1916, so they were only in Britain for a couple of months, and in those few months they were billeted not far from where I am at the moment. And quite a few of the items I've found have been found just up the road from me, actually just across the border in Surrey. And they've all been found because it was where a lot of the troops were billeted just before being shipped across to France. So the next item that came up, actually at the same time, linked together, was this one, which is another collar badge. And that is for the 47th Canadian Infantry. And they were authorised on 7th of November 1914, so very close to the beginning of the war. And they embarked for Britain on 13th of November 1915, disembarking in France on the 11th of August 1916, and they were disbanded on 30th of August 1920, along with the 102nd Canadian Infantry. So those two were found actually clipped together, so possibly somebody dropped them, somebody else had found them, clipped them together, and then dropped them again, who knows. So the next item I found was a little more personal, which I always like to find, and this is a First World War dog tag. And I don't know if you can see, there is a number on there, and there are also some initials, and it's A.D. Ritchie, 50th Battalion Infantry Canadians. And when I got home, I did a little bit of research on the 50th Battalion Infantry, and they were authorised on 7th of November 1914. So same time as the 47th Canadian Infantry, and embarked for Britain a little bit earlier, 27th of October 1915, and they disembarked for France at the same time, 11th of August 1916. Again, they were disbanded on 13th of August 1920. And I managed to do a little bit of digging and found out about Mr. A.D. Ritchie. Turned out it was Alexander Dunlop Ritchie, and he attained the rank of sergeant. And he was born in Scotland and emigrated to Canada at some point during his life, before 1915. And he held the number of 434187. That was his military number. And there is a military record of a A.D. Ritchie dying in 1919. So I don't know for sure whether it's the same person, but who knows. It's possible he survived the war but succumbed to injuries received during the war. I don't know. If anybody knows an A.D. Ritchie or relatives of them, then feel free to leave a comment in the messages down below, and we'll try and see if we can sort something out. Now, tying all those together is this one. This is a cap badge, and this is for the Canadian Expeditionary Forces, or the CEF, and they were active from August 1914 and right up until 1919 when they were disbanded. And it altogether consisted of 260 infantry battalions, and they saw action on the Western Front and the Russian and Siberian interventions. And the 102nd, 47th and 50th battalions would have all come under the Canadian Expeditionary Forces. So that was a nice little thing that tied the three together. Now, an item here, which I don't know if you can see, is a Dreadnought line grip. And this is to do more with life around camp while they were stationed here. And it is a patent, says on the front of it, patent pending, Great Britain, Canada and the United States. And it's made in Canada, and this was the ratchet strap of its day, as it were. You can see it has various holes on the back of it, and these would have been attached to lorries, pallets, trucks, anything, and line would have been thrown over, looped would have gone through there, and on the other side the actual line would have gone through here and been clamped shut, pulled tight and clamped shut. So that would have stopped tarpaulins from blowing away, and that would have kept everything in place as the trucks moved around. So that was something that's quite nice to find. It just shows life around camp. And actually in the same field, slightly different time, these all came up within 2 days of each other. I did find this in the same field, and this is again First World War, but it's British, and it's the Lincolnshire Yeomanry. And the Lincolnshire Yeomanry was actually founded in 1794, and they saw action in the Second Boer War and the First World War. And they were a voluntary cavalry unit, and they were, along with most other units, finally disbanded in 1920. So that was a nice find, just a little British one to go with all the Canadian ones. I do find a lot of Canadian stuff around the local area, and upon doing some research, it actually did turn out that the Canadians were billeted in Bramshot in Hampshire, so not far from where I am at the moment. And they were billeted there before being shipped out to the First World War. So they would have come over from Canada, arrived in Britain, been stationed in this country, got preparations ready, got organised, and then they would have all shipped out for France. So they were all stationed very close to here, and I have found while I've been digging large quantities of ammunition, quite a lot of it blank firing 303 rounds, which was the main round used during the First World War for the British Rifles. And so it shows they were actually doing practice training while they were out. So altogether, a nice little group of Canadian and one British First World War military medals and badges. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, join me again, because next time I will be heading out into the countryside, and possibly for a first dig we might actually head across the border into Surrey and see what we can find. So if you have enjoyed the video, I'd be very grateful if you could like and subscribe, and I hope very much that you will join me again, and we will try and delve a little bit more into the history of Britain through the items that I find while we're out digging. So keep safe, thank you very much for watching, goodbye.